The Toronto Raptors, a team that has practically changed the whole outlook of how a team is being built, and this is because they get a bunch of 6'7" dudes that have long wingspans and make it impossible for you to score on them. In today's video, we'll be looking at the 3 important things for the Toronto Raptors. This is Scottie Barnes good enough to be the point guard of the Raptors? We'll be answering this question by breaking down some film on Scottie Barnes' playmaking. In addition to that, we'll be looking at the Raptors' new head coach and seeing if his philosophies mesh well with the players that are on the team. And to cap off the video, we'll be looking at every single player on this roster and seeing if this team actually has a shot to contend this season. But before we get into today's video, make sure you guys hit that like button if you're new and hit that subscribe button, as I noticed that more than 90% of you guys are not subscribed. So first we're gonna start off with this question. Who is Darko Rajakovic gonna play at point guard? Is it gonna be Scottie Barnes or is it gonna be Dennis Schroeder? Dennis Schroeder. So I think last season, Fred VanVleet was really manning that point guard position, and it really caused Scottie Barnes to play more off the ball. And when we looked at it last season, there were a lot of plays where Scottie was playing in that post and he was passing to a lot of players and getting them open. And I think that the departure of Fred VanVleet is perfect for the development of Scottie Barnes. This is because he'll get way more touches than he even did last season. And to answer the question if he can be the point guard, well, let's look at this chart. This shows every aspect of Scottie Barnes' playmaking last season, and one thing that stands out is the passing creation quality. This is a 92 percentile in the whole league, which is an A. And he's also very versatile. Look at this. His passing versatility is a 96 percentile. I think out of all the stats here, those two are the most important, and that's what causes you to be a very great point guard. So if those numbers weren't enough to show you how good of a point guard Scottie is, let's look at the film. So let's break it down. On this first play, Scottie Barnes kind of looks like Jokic to me because he gets the ball in the right post, and when he gets the ball here, he surveys and he sees that the guy that's guarding Pascal Siakam on the right corner is dropping back a lot. So Scottie automatically throws it fast to Siakam, and Siakam knocks down the corner 3. And on the second play, Scottie Barnes is coming off a pick and roll with Gary Trent Jr. And when he gets the ball in the paint area, he sees that Kenyon Martin Jr. starts to play up a lot, giving Chris Boucher a wide open alley-oop. On this play, after a block on Giddey falls down on the floor, and Scottie Barnes automatically realizes that they have a 4-on-5 advantage, giving them a wide open pass in the paint, and he instantly sees it for an easy Chris Boucher dunk. So hopefully Scottie can be more put in these post positions when it comes to the season, because he's so good at finding players when they double team or off pick and rolls, and it just shows that he's a very versatile playmaker. He can playmake from any position. So if I don't see Scottie Barnes playing point guard this season, I'm gonna be one angry person. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But now we gotta move on to the coach of the Toronto Raptors, and he is a newly hired coach. His name is Darko Rajakovic, and he gives me a lot of hope. Because look, we can have all the talent in the friggin' world, but if we can't scheme up some plays and get these players to mesh well together, it's not gonna work. And that's why we got Darko. Darko is a coach that really focuses on ball movement and defense. And one thing we didn't have last year as the Toronto Raptors was ball movement. And even the president of the Toronto Raptors, Masai Ujiri, said that
I did not enjoy watching this team play.
Last year, there was some selfishness going on. And look, I don't blame him. The ball was barely moving. We were playing a bunch of ISO basketball with Pascal Siakam. And one thing I like about Darko is that isolation basketball isn't even a question in his mind. Like, he doesn't even want to do that. He has the European philosophies, and those philosophies involve moving the ball around and getting high quality looks. Even if Pascal has a contested mid-range, he's going to want Pascal to pass it to a wide open corner 3 or somebody else that's in the lane for a layup. Now we move on to the juiciest part of the video, and this is breaking down every Raptors player, and also I'm going to give you guys my starting 5 that I think the Raptors should go forward with. First of all, we're going to talk about the starting lineup. First of all, at point guard, Scottie Barnes has to be there. You guys saw the film breakdown and everything like that. Second of all, the shooting guard. This is 100% Gary Trent Jr. we need Gary scoring, or else the paint is going to be clogged. And especially when you look at Darko Rajakovic, he's going to want to have ball movement and spacing, so Gary is that player that you need. Although his points per game dropped, his efficiency improved, especially him driving at the rim. Gary added that aspect to his game that a lot of people said that he couldn't have. Now with Fred VanVleet gone, we can possibly see Gary Trent Jr. becoming an all-star type player, or fringe all-star. And if you think about it, Gary Trent Jr. is just another version of a Tyler Hero, but with defense. So who else doesn't want that on their starting lineup? And then coming up on the small forward position, I got OG Anunoby. The guy is a defensive player, and he is a guy that's going to go out there and get you steals, lock down the best guy on the court, and let's just put pressure off of Scottie Barnes and Pascal Siakam so that they can go ahead and eat. And you know, OG Anunoby has gotten respect from people like Luka Doncic, Giannis, and just recently in an interview, Mikal Bridges praises OG Anunoby, and he says that if OG Anunoby gets an opportunity to be the guy on the Raptors, he will actually turn up. And this is what Mikal Bridges had to say about OG.
How there's a lot of role players in the NBA that if they got an opportunity to kind of be the man and just have that opportunity on a team, that they would be a star.
Yeah, hell yeah. I think there's a lot. I think one now, if he kind of, I think like OG, and I think OG not even really too much even of. I think he's already kind of surpassed that role player type-ish. But if you give him like a mob, 100%.
Now let's move on to the power forward. This is Pascal Siakam. If Pascal can become more of that guy that can turn up late game and not fumble the ball a bunch of times, that will be so big for this Raptors squad. And I'm telling you, besides Pascal Siakam, I think the other player that can grab the ball and score in clutch situations is Gary Trent Jr. So I need Pascal to turn up in clutch situations. And then the center position is Jakob Poeltl 100%. I love his rim protection. But if you're playing Jakob Poeltl at the center position, you need to have a shooter on this team. And this is why I say Gary Trent Jr. and we don't want Dennis Schroeder starting. If Dennis Schroeder is starting, he's going to actually clog up the paint even more. So it's very important to have OG and Gary on this starting lineup. And what Jakob Poeltl provides for this Raptors team at the center position is very good screens. And we realized that these screens helped out Gary Trent Jr. a lot. And even when you look at off-ball movement and screens, those stuff help a lot. And Darko Rajakovic was coaching the Memphis Grizzlies. They had Jaren Jackson Jr. and now we have Jakob Poeltl. And I think that Darko Rajakovic knows how to use Jakob in a way that's going to impact Gary and OG. So I think it's going to be even more deadly, especially since Fred VanVleet's gone. Gary's going to have an opportunity to do a lot of pick and rolls with Jakob Poeltl. And now let's move on to the bench. This is the most important thing for the Raptors because the Raptors are a very top-heavy team. They play their starters a lot of minutes, and when it comes to playoff time, they're all beaten up and they can't perform. So let's move on to the bench, and we're going to start off with Dennis Schroeder. I think him being the sixth man is so important. His whole career, he's been that guy with a chip on his shoulder, coming out and trying to impact on the defensive end. And I think that him just coming out there and being that menace to go poke at the balls and go in transition is going to be so good for the Raptors' pace coming off the bench. We have a lot of other players coming off the bench like Otto Porter Jr., Precious Achiuwa, that's a very good slasher. And you also got players like Grady Dick that can go out there and space out the floor for you. And this is very important for the Raptors. Once again, you're playing with Darko Rajakovic. The guy loves spacing, and I think Grady Dick can get a lot of minutes. I made a solo video just on Grady Dick and how he played in the Summer League, so you guys could watch that for more Grady Dick breakdown. And we also have Jalen McDaniels now. That dude, I think, has a very good opportunity to come out of his shell now with the Raptors development. We can develop him to be a very solid shooter. And with all these names I just listed out on the Raptors bench, this is where Dennis Schroeder can help impact them. Precious Achiuwa is a dunking player. He can run you into transition and give you some crazy dunks. So I think that with Dennis Schroeder's defense and his ability to play make for others, this Toronto Raptors bench is going to help him out too. So let me know, where do you guys think the Toronto Raptors are going to place in the Eastern Conference? Will they be a top 5 team or will they be a playing team? That's been all for your boy Mubsy Hoops. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you smash the like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.